Oh my gosh, it's RH Live, or is it? Or are we recording? What are we doing? What's going on here?
Well, all right. Listen, here's what's going on. We're doing season 2. All right. It's
Season
not BRB
2,
Gaming. It
right?
is the RH Podcast Live, whatever the hell you want to call this thing. We're doing a
RH Live
podcast.
podcast.
This is season 2, episode whatever it is. And we are here to just give you guys something to listen to on your way to work, on your commute, wherever you are as you're going into Dreamland. Thor and I wanted to catch up and just kind of chit chat. We've been doing a lot of live streams lately and a lot of focus stuff on Analog Pocket, on new 3326 stuff, Steam Deck, and like where's the huge? Where's the usual things that we do? Well, guess what? This is one of those usual things. We're going to be sprinkling in ones like this here and there. So
Every
here it
now and then.
is. Every now and again. Thor, what have you been up to? You're here. You're looking at properties. Maybe
I
you're
have been
moving.
I've been looking at properties. We're originally, we're still planning on renovating the house and everything like that. But every now and then, my darling wife is like, "Hey, you know what? There's 16 acres over here for sale. We should maybe just build a house over there." And I'm like, "What do you want, woman? What do you want from me?" So have that going on. I was in the camper all last week. That was a ton of fun. And I
Yeah.
got a couple books finished and started Star Ocean for the SNES.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did, which I'm actually really enjoying. I didn't know how that would go, since it's not my usual fare for SNES era JRPGs, but I'm really enjoying it.
Interesting. I thought you were playing. You told me you were playing First Departure, but I thought you meant you're playing the PSP or like the PS4 version. You're playing the OG.
Yeah, the OG right now. I started First Departure
Okay.
while I was in the camper, and I was like, I'm going to go back to the SNES version, so then I can play this later on.
Yeah. You know
So I
what? It's
went
simpler.
back.
Yeah, it's simpler. I like that. It still has that similar battle style, but it's just like the pixel art is so good.
It is.
It's a satisfying game. I've actually never finished the SNES version, but I'm excited to hear more about all of that. And you
Well,
didn't shower for 7 days, I hear.
I was like
How
8
was your
actually at the end. Yeah.
how's your wife feel about that? You good now? You kind
Oh
of
yeah. Oh yeah.
got the
I
stink off.
showered down. Well, they didn't either. So how about
Oh
that?
no.
Yeah.
Everybody's well, you know what? Everybody
Well,
shares in the effect together. It
the
nullifies it.
thing was that we went out and it was cold, and
Uh-huh.
so they hadn't opened up the showers at the campsite. Number one,
Yeah.
and number two, I wasn't unleveling my camper every 3 days so everybody could take a shower. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I
That's
know
a
what you're talking
that's a
about.
whole process.
The leveling is a whole process. That's like 45 solid minutes of all right. All right. Is that level?
Does that
No.
feel level? Does
I'm
it
gonna
feel
I'm gonna
level?
I'm gonna lower the back left by like a half turn.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah. I got one of those magnetic digital levels, right? And
Yeah.
that speeds up the process, but still, because you have to go to the dump station and then you have to go get more water and then come back and re-level. It's like an hour-long process that I'm just unwilling to do once I have it leveled. And I think you know what I'm talking about too. Like just, oh my
Yes.
gosh, I'm not doing that. No.
Yeah. That's a once in a while sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not
So
often.
we had the baby wipes and I had some
Yeah.
deodorant, and yeah, so we're good.
You know what? And I respect it. I know back when I was up in Alaska, that's what we did too. Every day was baby wipe day.
Yep.
You baby wipe the parts that are important, the
Right.
pits, the places, and then you put on some like monkey butt powder or what have you, some talc
Mm-hmm.
powder, and call it a day. You're just around a bunch of bros, and you're just ready to have a good time. You know, you're gonna watch Blazing Saddles on your little mini projector you got plugged into your
Hell yeah.
GPD XD, and yeah,
Dude,
it's
your
like that.
GPDXD.
Yeah, you do, like you do. One of
Oh
those
man,
little
did you see the concepts for that Win 2 that's coming out?
God, yeah, with the the Win Max
Yeah,
too,
the Win
where they
Max
have
2, yeah.
the little magnetic plates that cover the joysticks.
Right. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
I saw it.
huge
What do
ass
you?
low bezel screen.
Yeah,
Oof,
I don't know.
it's gonna be expensive.
Dude, I bought the GPD Pocket One back in like 2016 when they first started doing the computer line.
Yeah.
It was cool, but it was so like so niche. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to obviously use this to work on an Excel spreadsheet or
No.
anything.
No.
So I never looked back as far as their Windows with keyboard models, except for like the Win 3 out of curiosity. But no. Um, well, cool. So you had a good week,
I
just
did.
relaxing, chillaxing, all cool, playing some
How
b-ball
things
out by the
how are
school.
things going with the house stuff with you?
Oh, yes. So, God, back when we were last catching up on personal stuff on the podcast, I think I was just starting the process. I had like just signed the offer, or like, we got an offer on the house we wanted to buy because we wanted to get a bigger place because we had the baby with Elliot, little Wotan. Uh,
Yep.
so we got the house that closed. We're stoked to move in there. That's going to be next week sometime. We're going to move.
Cool.
We sold our house in like a really compressed time frame. Like, I don't know. I think like 2 weeks. We got everything like up on the market and everything put together. Found a buyer, and I had a nightmare time going back and forth on negotiations. Blah 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 blah. But but now we're all done. It is all done.
Good.
We're renters of our own house right now, and we're just packing up and it's stoked to finally move in to our new digs. Uh,
Hell
I'm gonna
yeah.
have I'm gonna have a nerd cove. I'm gonna have a little office. I'm gonna probably build like one of those glass IKEA things that you have, the glass. What do you call those display cases? So I
Yeah.
can put my
The
handhelds
curios.
in the curios. I got to find one of those for a decent deal. Um,
They're pretty cheap from
because
IKEA. Just gonna throw that out there.
I mean, I'm gonna go check that out because, as you know, I was liquidating the handhelds, and now I am
Recollecting. Yeah.
collecting the handhelds and then some, making up
Which
for lost time.
you violated your rule, I think, with the
Oh, come on,
shield.
let's talk about it. Yeah, okay. So yes, I got a Shield portable. I always wanted a Shield portable,
Yeah.
dude. I got it for
They're
like,
cool as hell.
yeah, it's clean. It works. I even heard rumors that there are Shield Portable 2 prototypes out in the wild you can buy.
I think
That
there's one, like one in existence.
there is one prototype version 1. There's also a version 2 and a version 3 that got released
Okay.
somehow. So I think there's 3 or 4 floating out there, but they never come up for sale. If I ever see one, I will buy it. But this is your standard portable. It is I mean, it definitely is an 8-year-old handheld back at the beginning of this whole hobby. It's hefty. It feels like a Shield TV 2015 controller with a
Yeah.
screen attached. But it's
It's
chunky,
like
but it's made for big hands. I honestly would try it out. You should definitely like just
it's like an Android 5 though, isn't it? Something like
Android
that.
5.1. And
Yeah.
actually, there was a firmware update waiting for me when I opened it up for the first time.
Well, I can't believe it's still supported.
It
That's crazy.
still is. It still works. You can actually, I guess, load a bunch of modern stuff in here. So I'm gonna put it through its paces. Um, I got a lot of my favorite handhelds back, but I've been doing I've been really screwing up. You're gonna give me a hard time about this. I got into Game Boy collecting now.
Okay.
I'm starting to get away from because the Analog Pocket piqued my curiosity about
Right.
non-emulation devices. And I'm like, what about that Game Boy with the IPS mod? Like, what's that all about? How does that compare to the Pocket?
Are you talking about the sideways Game Boy or the SP? Because I know how much you love clamshells.
I want the SP. I'm looking for a good SP. I do have an SP,
Right.
the silver one.
Well, it's
But
time to get modern.
this is not a non-modded one. So it's a platinum SP. So I want to learn how to mod it and do all that stuff. It's kind of fun. But here's where I fucked up. I found an eBay lot for some games, some physical games. I'm like, oh,
Oh
those have like 3 or 4
no.
of my games from my childhood, like some of my favorites. I'm talking super obscure, like Raging Fighter for Game Boy. I don't know if anyone's
Uh-huh.
ever heard of Raging Fighter. It's like an early Street Fighter, probably ripoff. I played the shit out of that game when I was a kid. I was like, I want that. I want that nostalgic tactile feel. I have an actual Game Boy to try it out with. I have a DMG on the way that I'm going to mess around with. I've
Nice.
been looking for those cheap cheapo deals, and like people who are selling lots that they find in their attic or something, or like
Yeah. The
grandma's like,
online
I don't
garage
know
sale
what this
stuff.
is. I don't know, but here's a box of stuff I found, dude. I've been like just picking those up, and Yeah. So, anyways, I got some physical carts, and at the beginning of the podcast, I made such a stink about like I'm all digital. I'm never gonna go physical again. Like that's just a problem. I'm gonna be collecting, blah blah blah. And here I am, like at the very start of collecting. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna get a couple of physical games, like just my childhood favorites, and call it a
Right.
day. And
How's that going
I'll
to
let
work out?
you. Yeah, well, that's why I'm gonna share my shame every episode, and we'll check in. We'll check
I
in. So
know
far,
I
I
know
got
that's what
like 10
Russ
games.
does because he and I are doing some trades still, and
Yeah.
so I'm sending him a copy of the original Metroid for NES and Mickey's
Mm.
Power of Illusion or something like that for Sega Genesis
I want Star
and
Tropics for
Star
NES.
Tropics.
Yeah.
Well, I had a whole list of games, and he was like, "Okay, I just want those two. That's it." So hopefully, you can maintain something like that where you're just like, "Okay, I played this
Curated.
game. I played this game as a child. All
Mm-hmm.
right,
Oh
so."
boy.
Right. And so now I'll just try to get some of those back so I can have some of my classics. Even though I can play these fucking games on literally every device in my house,
Right.
I'm just going to go ahead and get the physical copies just for
Well,
the hell of it.
I have to admit something. All right.
Uh-huh.
Don't tell Eames that I'm saying this, but as I've been working through my launch box, like trimming down my ROM library the last year, part of me wants to reach through the screen and touch and turn the box around. And like just touch it once. Like just get the manual out, flip through it.
Yeah.
A part of me does want to feel that. I'm like, man, I really wish I had some of these games physically. Just a few of them,
You have
just
an
a nice
addiction,
curated
sir,
set.
already. I see the madness sitting in your eyes already.
You see the madness opening up. Yeah, but unfortunately, dude, it is way too expensive
Oh,
to
yeah.
collect
Oh,
everything. Like one of my favorites is Metroid 2 Return of Samus for Game Boy. Just forget about it.
yeah.
I will buy a reproduction cart and call it a day. Like a $20 repro cart. Repo
Do
cart?
you
What do people
but will
call it?
you really be
I'm learning the
satisfied with
lingo.
that?
I'm fine with it.
Will you really be satisfied with a
Well, what's the
repro of Kid
difference?
Dracula?
Well, I don't care about I never played that as a kid.
Yeah, you say that now. Listen, a year
What's the
from now,
difference? What's
you're
the
gonna come
difference
to
to
me
me?
shaking, all right? Scratching
Yeah.
your arms, scratching your shoulders, going,
What?
"Hey, y'all got any of that Kid Dracula for Game Boy?" All right.
Um, I mean, I did make a deal in DMs with someone off Eames's Game Boy, which I gotta shill his server. So he's the retro GM server. They do a lot of Game Boy deals and trades there. It's awesome. Uh, but there was a deal that went up with a bunch of old Game Boy carts, and I saw Pokemon Yellow, Return of the Jedi, Wario Land, and Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, do you want to just give me those 4 games for like this much money? Like $50. And he's like,
50 bucks.
okay. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
That
Because
Pokemon Yellow is probably worth it, I think.
he priced
That
the
alone.
Pokemon Yellow at $40 on its own. And I
Yeah.
was like, all right, so there are still some good Game Boy cart deals out there.
Well, that's the power of the combo deal though. That's what I'm always looking
Yeah.
for, you know?
It looks
Like
like he's trying to liquidate.
when I reach out to users, like I have a whole network of users now that come to me first before they put stuff up in like marketplace channels and stuff like that
Yeah.
all over the internet. And they're like, "Hey man, yo dog, I heard you like Game Boys, you know?" And
Yeah.
so they come to me and they're like, "Okay, I've got 4 DS Lites, 3 PSPs. This one's in 10 out of 10 condition."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I want that and that and that and that and that and that and that. Here's $300. Thank you." You know? And so that's how I ended up with a giant pile of gaming shit on my table that's still there. So
Yeah.
I do
And then
have
you
a
never
bunch
got
of
around to
extra.
playing it though.
Well, I have a bunch of extra DS Lites. I haven't gotten around to modding a lot of it, is the thing.
Well, but now you're trading some of that to Russ for some pretty sweet deals for like some good
Yeah,
stuff that you want.
but not a lot, not enough. Like my wife's still like, okay, it's time. All right.
It's
Because
time. She
she
saw the pile.
and that makes her that doesn't make her sound great. I'm telling you right now, she's been absolutely wonderful about this whole process. I
Uh-huh.
just it's out of sight, out of mind. If I'm not in the living room looking at it, I'm not hating on
Oh,
myself for not getting it done yet.
you
Here, I'll
have all
show you.
that stuff just in your
It's
living room?
it's still right. It's right there on the table. You see that?
It just lives there? Just
Yeah. Well, I mean,
looking at your family, just
I
like, "Please, somebody play us.
I put it all in the
Somebody."
corner. I put it all in the
Yeah,
corner back
with
there.
the bright light shining on it, like,
Yeah, yeah.
look at my shame.
But so I dug through it all because Russ and I were negotiating a little bit. Uh, so I dug through it all and pulled out a GameCube and some other stuff to trade him. And now I have
Yeah.
to kind of like put it all back, you know.
Well,
So I
it's
don't know.
not as I always say, it's not hoarding if it's awesome.
No, this
So
is hoarding.
if the shit's awesome, then it's not hoarding.
Well,
It's it's
it
hoarding.
it is awesome stuff, but it's definitely hoarding for me. Like I've been in this big life purge thing. You know, I sold a bunch of farming
I
equipment
know.
and I
You've
just
been casting
we
it
got the new
off.
house thing. Yeah, I have just, you know, like water off a duck. And so it's time for me to get rid of some more of this crap. All right.
Yeah, I've been
And I have to
yeah.
reference it as crap in my head, even though I'm like, these are my treasures.
Those are
Don't
your
take my
treasures.
treasures, you know.
Those are your preciouses.
I
Dude,
know, and that's hoarder
I know how it
mentality,
goes.
Stubbs. That's hoarder mentality.
Well, my whole thing is I'm just going to rebuy the things that I absolutely love that I don't want to sell again. So
Yeah.
that's my hope. That's my dream, if as
Yeah.
it were. I am loving the analog pocket. I didn't think I would. I thought I'd get it for the review and impressions video for RH Live,
Yeah.
but I did not expect to continue playing it much after that. I thought I was like, all right, well, I'll probably get rid of it, but
What is it that you're finding just oh so good about it though?
it feels like do you know the candy Smarties? You know the little Smartie candies
Yeah.
have that really chalky kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
It feels like the face buttons are Smarties, so that's
Okay.
nostalgic, but like in a good kind of way. Not that you want to eat them, but just like that's the kind of like that chiclet kind of style that it just the playing on it is a joy. It feels good. The screen looks beautiful. Uh,
It is a
it's like
wildly impressive screen, isn't it?
I'm not
I mean, it
super
really
stoked on it
is.
for Game Boy Advanced or for Game Boy OG games, but Game Boy Color is so good.
Yeah.
Uh, Converting your ROMs and dropping them to the Game Boy Studio part of the analog pocket is so good. And as long as I limit myself to ones that aren't retro achievement enabled, it's like I'm guilt free playing. I'm just having the
Guilt
best
free.
time of my life.
Listen to you.
All right. Do you want to hear something ridiculous? I did something ridiculous.
Yes.
Um, I for game of the not game of the month, but a challenge is this month is Dollar Bill said, okay, let's play all the Star Oceans. All right. So leading up to this, they did Star Ocean 1, Star Ocean 2 was last month. This
Right.
month is Star Ocean Blue Sphere for Game Boy Color.
Cool.
And I have obviously a slew of devices I could play this game on, right? I could play it on pretty much anything in this room. I really want to play it on this analog pocket really, really, really badly. Unfortunately, they only made a patch to play the Japanese only version on the
Mhm.
Pocket on the Game Boy Studio hack. So I got a flash cart, Easy Flash Junior. I put it on there. The flash cart won't read it. It won't do anything. I had to
Interesting.
that. Then they're like, oh, you got to update the flash cart to version 5 on an actual Game Boy hardware and then run it on the Pocket. I'm like, okay, so
Okay.
that's why I have this SP. I overnighted it from Amazon. Uh,
Wait, you
like
bought an SP on Amazon?
on Amazon just to get it here the next day.
How much was
So
that?
$200, and it's just a basic. It's just a basic
Is it at least a
non-modded.
101?
Let's see. Where do you tell? It is a Game Boy Advance SP AGS 001. So yeah, no. Anyways, I had this only because so I could load the Easy Flash cart, update to version 5, and then use it in the analog pocket so I could play Star Ocean.
Mhm.
I did that. It still won't work in the pocket. So I put it in and got an Omega Flash cart, the GBA version. And Star Ocean in there on the pocket is like teeny tiny. It won't expand full screen. It pretends it's a Super Game Boy. So I'm like, well, that's not going to do. Um, So then I'm like, all right, I found someone on eBay who took the ROM, made a cart out of it with the English translation, and they're
That's a
going to
lot.
send that. That is a lot, right?
That's
So
a
either
lot.
that's going to show up just so I can play that game this month and have my weird fucking neuroticism satisfied, or I also got a flash cart that should work with the Pocket. It's called like the Game Boy Color. It's basically it's a Chinese version of the EverDrive X7.
Okay.
So
Well,
EverDrives, as you know, no one can find them.
I'm gonna load up Blue Sphere on my Easy Flash Omega right now because I have the definitive edition.
Yeah, but it's gonna be little. It's gonna be you can't full screen it. It's gonna look like shit, and you won't
Don't
be
tell me how to play
satisfied.
my ROMs.
I He's right, everybody. I should. That was good. That was good. I have plus 10 points. I just want what I want. So I really want to play Blue Sphere this month and beat it so Dollar Bill can be proud. And so we'll hold each other accountable. I just have to play it in this particular exact freaking way.
So see,
And I'm like,
I was
and
about to get some
obviously,
guff the other day for talking about buying an Outrun arcade machine. All right.
yeah, I know. I was about to give
And
you guff for that.
you're pulling the trigger all over the place right now to play one Game Boy
One
game.
game, one game, one game. And it does work on the Game Boy Studio on the Pocket, but the Japanese only, not the English translation ROM, unfortunately. And so my other idea was to play the Japanese version while playing it simultaneously on a different device and clicking forward to read what the text says. But I decided that's the point where I said, you know what? I think that I've gone too far. I better go do all these other things so that I can play it the normal way.
If I could be really real with you, too far was buying a $200 AGS 001. All right. That was too far. All right. I've got
but
10 of those fucking things that I can overnight you at any point. All right.
okay, but
But
I can mod this and it'll be fine. Like don't what you said, I just said what you said to me. Reversed it on yourself.
Reversed.
What are you? Or no. What do I call?
I know you are, but what am I?
I know you are, but what am I? So I might just give up and play my Fun Key S. That's my only other thing. I'm either playing it on the Fun Key S because I refuse to not be tortured when I'm trying to accomplish something. Obviously. Right. So
this is torture. You know that, right?
Yeah. It's
like you just
hurt me more.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, gonna get through Game Boy. I don't know where or how we got to this place on this conversation. I think we're talking about just stuff we've been up to. Yeah. So I got some new handhelds. You are getting rid of some handhelds. It would make sense that I would possibly buy some handhelds from you, but it depends what you got. So I need to pick through your wares.
I'll let you pick through my wares.
I might need to take a look-see. Let's see here. Do you want to... Have you heard about the Retroid Pocket 1 Plus?
Oh my God. Yeah, I've seen this thing.
And it has the red joystick like the RGB 10S, which by the way, I've been using that too, and it sucks. It still sucks.
Yeah, I imagine.
It sucked then, and it still sucks now. I was going to do a review video, but there's no need because it just... My conclusion is that it sucks.
Right.
L1, R1, we're done. No more.
It's not the ultimate 3326 device.
Fun Key S is the ultimate device.
Oh, and while we're on that, because I made a joke about that in my April Fool's prank post, right? About the 10S being the ultimate 3326. So many people left the server and DM'd me angry messages. All right. How could you do this? Why would you blah, 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 blah. For those of you who don't know, for the April Fool's prank for RH this year, Stubbs and I made the announcements and some of the art for it, but we converted retro handhelds RH to ERH, Elden Ring handhelds.
Yeah. Elden Ring handhelds, the best pain game that you can play on a handheld. So
right.
And that wasn't a joke. And that's why people left, because they couldn't take it.
They couldn't get good, you know.
It wasn't a joke. That was a real thing that we were doing. We really were doing that for a day, though. And then the next day we decided, well, We're
Eh.
losing a bunch of people. I've never even played this game. I refuse to play it. I own it, but I refuse to play it until I get a Steam Deck, which, Gabe, if you're listening to
Let's
this,
go.
and I know you definitely are, where's my email? I was supposed to get an email yesterday to buy my Steam Deck, but where's my email? Thor, even you said, we did the calculator. You said, oh, it's definitely going to work on this day. It's definitely, that's not how you sound. You're more like, yo, that's definitely how it's going to work on this day.
Is that what I sound like?
You're going to get it on the
You're
4th.
you're gonna get it. What do
And I
you?
was like,
What?
I woke up, I got my cup of coffee, and I hopped on the computer. I was like, oh, tickety, 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 clickety, clickety, clack. Check my email.
Right.
Where's my Steam Deck? And then Gabe didn't give me one response, no email. And I said, Thor. And I've been waiting and clicking every 20 to 30 minutes ever
Could
since
you
yesterday.
could you explain the clickety clickety clack one more time for me? I didn't
Yeah,
quite.
I went,
Didn't quite.
clickety, clickety, clack, clickety, 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 clack.
I
And
wish you guys could see the head motions right now because he's really into it. All right, he's really
that's
really into it.
That's the sound that I make when I type on my keyboard when I roll out of bed in the morning.
Right.
I'm just
I
ready for the world. Just let's go.
I always think tippy tippy tip tap when I'm typing, but
Tippity 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 tap.
not clickety clickety click clack click click click
Clickety
clack.
clickety clack. And
Yeah.
yes, if you're listening to this eventually on YouTube, we're not on video because we said, let's just go low key tonight. Can we just do a regular just
Stubbs
talking?
didn't want to put his face on. That's what it was.
And I'm
He's had a concealer.
I look podcast ready, video ready. I
You do.
think
You look very handsome tonight.
I took. Oh,
I'm so glad your beard has come back.
It's coming back.
Yeah.
I took a bath in the hot tub actually.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did like a midday soak. I was feeling a little stressy from work, and just needed to have a little soaky poo, and think
Soaky
about
doodle.
life. Played a little Phalanx, which is game of the week in RH, and not well in the hot tub. I'm not crazy. Not for that reason. So yeah, this RP1 Plus though, it is freaking.
What's going on with this? Because I haven't really dug into it. I just saw essentially what looked like an RP1 with an orange joystick and a touchscreen. All right, this isn't like a reality, right? This is an engineering sample, or because it didn't look like the screen fit the body. Number one, like it was a little too small. So
What was up with that D-pad?
I mean, the whole thing's garbage.
Why are we doing this? A turtle's gonna freak out when he sees that thing. Well, he's gonna freak out because he loves it. Like he's gonna be like, "What?"
Well, and I
have to make lineage for it.
I have lineage builds right now for the RP1 and RP2, updated lineage builds that I need to test. That I'm doing this instead of testing lineage builds. And Turtle's he's gonna knock my door down. All right,
he's gonna freak out. I know. Well, if you look at the Reddit post on r/Retroid, where Taki dropped the RP1 Plus prototype video, which by the way, it has that bright cherry red left joystick. What is this a theme now? What are we doing?
Not.
I thought that was a Powkitty thing. Like, is this like a new thing happening in the industry? Can we please stop it? But no, on the post, the first thing someone says is, please share the firmware of the RP1.
And it's already shared. I already backed it up. I did that months ago.
We got that. I know. I want to post that, but I'm waiting. Post it tomorrow.
It'll be all right.
It's people can calm. They can just calm down. All right. Everybody is all up in arms. And it's so funny how the Odin has fractured the entire scene. Nobody knows what to do. Some people are oh yeah, I'm sending you Blue Sphere, but you got to try that game out. Nobody knows what to do. Some people are buying Game Boys and getting into like what I'm doing, going off in that direction. Some people are like diving into the older like 3326 devices and really going into town. Like nobody knows what to do now that the Odin's here. Powkitty is making red joystick devices. Retroid is going backwards and working on the RP1 and improving on something that nobody really wanted in the first place. Oh yeah, I hear that. I've heard that sound more than 30 times in the last 2 days. Yes.
Is this what you're talking about? Where it won't go full screen?
Yes, it has the Super Game Boy bezel that it adds on automatically.
That's weird.
If you can disable that and full screen that, I will
What?
definitely
You'll
return
what?
my game. I will definitely return my Game Boy SP to Amazon. So
You have a sickness, sir.
I know. What else? But here's the thing, man. Is like what else do we do? You know, we have Odin. They've won the emulation handheld game. They've won the Android emulation handheld game. Uh, there's nowhere else to go in that direction, so we go down other avenues. We talk about other forms of handheld gaming,
Well,
and
I was explaining this to my wife earlier today, actually,
yeah,
because she and I were talking about it, and I was talking about the Mister. You know about the Mister, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
FPGA,
FPGA. So the analog pocket brought up a lot of Mister feelings, right? Because
mm-hmm.
there's like a PlayStation 1 core in the works, and some people bring up N64, maybe not, maybe some games.
I heard
And
Dreamcast, yeah,
yeah, so it's coming. That FPGA is coming and will eventually replace emulation, right?
right.
There will be a point, in my humble opinion, where we cap out with this stuff, because I don't think beyond PS3 really we need emulation. Almost all games are available for PS4, PS5, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, blah, 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 all
And
those
so,
games
what
are
the
reverse
hell?
compatible.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so, there comes a point where it's just some convergence point where you probably only have one device that literally does everything on all mediums. You can stream
Right.
content, PlayStation content, Xbox content. You heard about you as far as other current events goes. You heard about the merger, right, with PS Now. PS
Oh
Now and
yeah.
PS Plus
Oh yeah.
are gonna come together, which is obviously a long time coming. Nobody cared for PS Now as a service, at least in the last year. I
I
stopped
tried
subscribing to it.
I tried PS Now maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I remember when they first debuted it at
It was a little
E3
rough.
in
Yeah.
24. I think it was 2014. I think it was the last year I went to E3.
Yeah.
Uh, but it just never really caught on, because people, I don't think they understood it. I don't think they advertised it or explained it well. I think it got
Yeah.
the Vita tier love, but they
Yeah.
put
Well,
so much money into it that they just couldn't abandon it.
yeah. And now, I mean, basically, people are like, all right, if you own a PS4 or PS5, that's how you're going to play your PS3 games. Some of them. Uh, we needed more because people could still have PS3s. PS3s with HDMI, they still look great.
Yeah.
That 1080p resolution, just buy a PS3, play your
Yeah.
games that way. PS Now has artifacting. It's never been that great. But now with the merger, they're talking about releasing PS2 games on it and PS1 games again. So we'll have PS1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on our PS5. Subscribe
Right.
yourself to the full service stream to something like the PlayStation app on your Odin or whatever handheld you have. There's also
Yeah.
that third party app that people are loving that
I
Russ
think it'd
always talks
be
about.
I think it'd be really cool though if they merged Game Pass and what Nintendo does, but in not a shitty way like Nintendo does, wherein
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
like they have the games that you have just for having PS Plus, right? And
Right.
having a
Exactly.
PS5,
Free
right? They have
games.
those free games,
That's
right?
fun.
But if you have the upgraded subscription, not only do you get PS Now games, but you get a
Mm.
huge backlog of PS2 and PlayStation games that have been
Yes.
converted for PS4 and PS5. That
Yeah.
would
Give me
be
that library.
super tight, super super tight. Just so I wouldn't have to buy
Yeah.
Legend of Dragoon again. So
For the 40th time.
had to
I
bring it
know.
up
And that's one thing I've been harsh on Nintendo lately. We all have.
for good
But
reason, though. For good reason.
on the Switch, I'm trying out their Nintendo Online, like their 12-month sub that gives you the N64 games, Genesis games, all that.
Yeah, about
It's
that too.
it's not bad. You know, it's a very limited selection. You get the PAL ROMs and the American ROMs. I have to guess in the background it's running like parallel or on Muppin or something. Like
Who
there's no way they
knows?
developed a proprietary emulator. Like it's building off the
They
work of
built it from
somebody.
source.
There's like
Hell no.
these slowdowns, they're too familiar in these certain areas. I'm like, something's fishy here. Either way, like I gotta say, it's not bad. It's an expensive service, but all the services are.
Yeah.
Uh, has
but
save states. That's cool.
it's not. I
It's
mean, even
it's
compared to PS Now, even compared to PS Plus,
yeah.
it's garbage.
It's garbage because you're not getting those monthly free games. You're getting this old,
Hmm.
ROM library basically of some select first party titles, a couple of third parties. Like who wants to play Winback for the N64?
Yeah, that's weird.
I loaded that up and I'm like, why is this here? I guess it's what they could get the rights to on the cheap. But
Well, and that is definitely part of it. What can they get the rights to? You know,
yeah,
and that's the thing that feels kind of greasy to me. Is like I
yeah,
know there are certain games that just aren't going to show up. You know, that
yeah.
probably should, just because
Like where's
they would have to deal with Microsoft or whatever
my
to get them.
like Perfect Dark or GoldenEye? Like give me
Yeah,
those
rare
on
games, that
on my
kind of stuff.
Switch. Exactly.
Because I mean,
And
streaming wasn't foreseen in 1997. You know,
right.
so.
Yeah, they weren't really thinking that. It wasn't at the top of their consciousness.
But
But
as far as like the PS Plus, PS Now merger, I think it should have happened a
yeah.
long ass time ago. You
Yeah.
know, a long, long time ago. And I still think the way that they're tiering it is a little weird.
Yes, they should have. I wish these companies would do one tier. Like, just give me one option. Everybody should have one option,
Yeah.
the ultimate option from the get go. Price
Yeah.
it appropriately, whatever you want, but don't fracture it off like this.
Well,
I saw
we're already paying $60 a year, right? For PS Plus.
we
$5
are,
a month. And then
and
what
so
their
with
ultimate tier is what, 120?
something like that, yeah. Which I don't know.
Well,
I gotta look what
drop
the
it
ultimate tier is.
drop it to 89.99, split the difference,
Yeah,
and motherfuckers are still gonna pay it. I know I would.
I know, yeah, it's a tough sell. I do appreciate that they're combining it finally, and we don't have two separate services.
How much is a year of
Um,
Game Pass?
I always buy it on Black Friday, and I fill it up for like 2 years on
That's
Black
fair.
Friday because it's so cheap. I don't know. I pay like $60 for like a year and a half or something. Uh, but PS
For
Plus,
Game
yeah,
Pass
is
Ultimate?
for Ultimate. Annual price of PS Plus Premium is $120. You get PS Plus, 400 PS4, PS5 games, PS1, PS2, and I didn't realize you got PSP downloads.
Yeah.
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there.
It's definitely running that PPSSPP.
You think so? You
Uh,
think they're running that on PS4 architecture
I mean,
or PS5
probably.
architecture? Probably,
I
right?
don't know. What else are they doing? PPSSPP. That'll never get old. Um, Nintendo just needs to give us some of these free games. Like give us like one old first party title a month. Give us one old first party
Yeah,
title and give us one indie game. We're not asking for the world. Give me I don't know like not even Breath of the Wild. Give me
like
Splatoon or something.
or Animal Crossing for
Animal
GameCube.
Crossing. It's been 4 or 5 years. Come on, I don't want to pay. People don't want to pay $60 for that. If they subscribe to the thing, got at a minimum, give us a discount. I don't know. Throw us a bone.
Yeah, that would be a smart thing, like a 10 or 15% discount on first party
Something.
titles if you bought the annual
Something.
subscription.
These sales are
They
paltry, man. I'm so
they did
spoiled
the
with PlayStation sales. The
yeah.
Nintendo
Oh,
sales
dude.
are like, oh, here's 2% off Kirby's Forgotten Island or whatever. I played that
Dude, the
demo, by the way. That game is pretty good. Playing as like the VLC player Kirby,
yeah,
sucking
I
around,
played it. I played it
sucking up
already.
a car, and
I
yeah,
was playing it on Steam Deck. Shh.
on Steam Deck. Shh.
There
Oh no,
were some
I just played
slowdowns, but
I played the demo because I'm not going to drop $60 for first party Nintendo titles anymore.
no, I rarely pay $60 for a game on launch. I just did that with Legos, with the Lego
Right,
Skywalker
you're
Saga,
playing.
Star
Tell
Wars.
me about that. Tell me about that.
It's not the game I expected. I can tell you that because
Yeah, it has like
they went.
nine games, right?
Yeah, it's like
A
15 new
whole.
levels and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff. It's a whole thing, man. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, it's a whole thing. They went back and so the original Star Wars Legos games, right?
yeah,
They had the first three, the original trilogy, and then they did the prequels, right?
yeah.
And they had a really specific way the levels played out. This is more open worldy.
Uh-huh.
than previously expected. It's like it's not level per level per level per level, right? It's
Yeah.
much more open worldy, and there's like, dude, there's so much. I'm overwhelmed by how much there is to do
Really?
in it right now. Yeah, I know, I really am. Like it. Oh my gosh. I'm not even a third of the way through it. I put like 10 hours into it last night. I'm used to games being like 8 hours long now, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, dudes were speed running Resident Evil Village in like 30 minutes 3 days after it was released. You know what I mean? So
What?
yeah, it was ridiculous. That game got crushed. But that's not happening here. You're not gonna have some enjoyable speed run for the Skywalker saga. Absolutely not. It's
No.
a
You're
hefty
gonna
lass.
Yeah, it's like Halo Master Chief Collection. Like you're gonna need to sit and play through it over the course of a year and a half.
It's definitely a much longer term thing than I thought I was getting involved in, because I haven't played a Lego game like that for, I don't know, probably 8 years or something. There was a Lego Batman
Yeah.
game that came out forever ago. I don't know, but it is a hefty game, and I keep looking at the menu screen that shows you how much stuff you have unlocked and everything like that. I'm like, oh my fucking
Yeah.
god, what did I get myself into? This is fucking ridiculous. Oh my god, I'm so screwed. Because I did pay full price for it. And I'm like, I got to finish it. I got to platinum it. It's going to happen.
You have to if you paid the full money. You just have to. Otherwise,
Yeah.
guilt will eat you alive at night.
Yep. So
Just gonna be like, you
I
gotta play
I
Lego.
have been enjoying that. It's a much different game than I expected, because I played those original Lego Star Wars games so much that I remember them. You know what I mean? So
I never got huge into the Lego franchise stuff. I really liked Lego, like Lego Island, like Lego Racer,
yeah,
some of the early Lego games. But as far as
some of the ones where
those
you actually build your own stuff. Yeah.
where you still built Lego stuff, and then Lego World, I think it was. It's like the Minecraft Lego open
Mm.
world game.
Hmm.
That was kind of fun. But the adventure platformer Legos, I played some of Harry Potter. I played a little bit of Lego Batman.
Yeah.
Wasn't huge into them. I liked the Lego movie. That was fun.
Yeah. That was
That
fun.
was good. That was fun. But I've seen these Lego Star Wars games, and if you're saying I should just skip all of the previous ones and just get this new collection, maybe I'll wait for sale and pick that up because I would
Yeah,
like to
wait
try it
wait
with the
for a
kids,
sale. It's
with the
well,
girls.
it's definitely very kid friendly, because even though there's voice acting and stuff like that, it's a
Yeah,
really really silly retelling of Star Wars. Like,
I like that.
people don't get smoked, like
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like
It's
when
they
Luke
just fall into
Skywalker
pieces.
when Luke loses his hand in Empire, right?
Yeah,
Like the hand just goes right and comes off. It's not like he
yeah. He's like,
that kind of
"Oops,
stuff.
oh
Or
well."
like when
That's fun.
Darth Maul, spoiler alert, smokes Qui-Gon Jinn, right? It's like it's
Yeah.
one quick, like almost off-screen lightsaber thing that happens, and then there's a bunch of silly goofy shit that happens afterwards. So
Qui-Gon,
uh
don't go in there. You'll die.
it's an extremely kid-friendly game. Absolutely.
I've watched some of it because the girls liked watching Lego Star Wars on what was it, Disney Plus, I think. There's some Lego Star Wars stuff on
Oh
there,
yeah. Yeah, there's some of
and
that on there.
that was fun. I'm like, you know what,
Hmm.
this is adorable. I want to sit down. I'd rather watch this, way more rather watch this than like SpongeBob or like
Yeah.
Blippi or now. Not that there's anything wrong with SpongeBob, it just gets to be a bit much after a
Yeah,
while.
he's
I'm like,
he's
all
a little
right,
much.
can you turn the volume down? That was funny to me like 30 years ago, but now I'm like, can
Yeah,
we just not a little bit dial it
SpongeBob
down?
SpongeBob was like right after my time, so I don't
Yeah,
quite
exactly.
my brain's not programmed for it.
Yeah, I'm not totally into. I know that he lives in a pineapple, which I don't know how
Hmm.
that's physically possible, and he's underneath the ocean.
Under the sea.
He's under the sea, and he
Hmm.
has like this friend who's all
Patrick
he's just
Star, yeah.
special, Patrick Star,
He's
and
very special.
he is a sponge that has come to life somehow. Do they ever explain like the prequel, the origin story of how he became a living sponge?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay.
I have no clue.
These are the
I'm
questions
too
that I
old.
have.
I'm an elder gamer.
I don't know.
I'm sure somebody will
Uh
reach out in the comments and be like, "You guys don't know the origins of SpongeBob? You call yourself millennials? Oh my god."
I don't think SpongeBob is like a millennial
I think it
franchise. I
is.
think is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why is he so loud? Why does it make so much noise?
because kids like
I
it.
don't know. I guess. You
I
know
do
what
know
I
that
like? You know
they've made a
what?
metric shitload of SpongeBob video games too. Did you know about this?
The video games are fun. I've played a few of them. I
Have you?
don't.
So
Yeah.
you've played them, but
Yeah, but the voice acting, it's just all of that.
Mhm.
It's too much. It's too much. Uh,
Yeah,
I loved like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon
yeah,
and like the Gummy Bear Adventures, like the Disney
right.
Gummy Bear Adventures from the 80s. So good.
Well,
Ugh.
but the things got chaotic, especially at I'm going to call it the turn of the century, right? With cartoons. So
Right. Everything's fast, fast,
SpongeBob
fast.
happened, right, right,
Yeah.
and that's still going on. I think they're still making
They're
SpongeBob.
still making a SpongeBob?
They're still making
How do
South
they
Park. They're like, I mean, they've been doing it for like
fuck, I mean,
25 years,
yeah, they're still making Simpsons too,
28
which is
years, yeah.
nuts.
So and then Adventure Time happened. I don't know if you've gotten involved in that.
Yeah, well, I caught a few episodes of that.
Hmm.
Yeah, with the ice princess and the ice
Ice
king
Princess,
and
Ice King, yeah.
all
That
those
one
people and the dog.
that one they designed for kids, but if you're an adult that's paying attention,
Yeah,
it's really fucked. Like it's really like the backstory of like the world getting destroyed and all this apocalyptic shit happening, and there's some really like
it's
heart
really
wrenching, sad shit
messed
in
up.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
but if you're a kid, you're like, oh my gosh, he talking about butts and hot dogs, and just all right.
I mean, it was funny. Like you got Finn the dog, or is Finn the
And
human? Which one's the
Jake
dog?
the dog and Finn the
Jake
human.
the dog, Finn the human. They're always saying wacky things. They're like algebraic,
Yeah,
and
well,
it's
that's how it
it's
started
it's
out, but
stressful.
it went on for like a really long time, and Jake was growing up throughout the show, and he
Oh, really?
started getting jaded, you know what I
Really?
mean? Yeah, really. It was
That's actually
interesting.
really smart. That's actually really smart.
Hmm.
I'll have to watch more cartoons. Man, I loved them as a kid, but as an adult, I went for the more realism stuff.
Yeah, of
Not as
course.
much. I know you love anime too. Like that's your other
I
thing.
do. I do
You
love
do.
anime. I
I
hate
and I
anime games though, and I'm not the only one.
yeah, I
They're
prefer
just so
anime
low
games to
quality.
anime movies or shows.
Oh,
Is
well,
that
you're
weird?
the only one. Yeah,
I I just I'd rather be if I'm already watching something that looks like a game to me, why not just play the game? I
that's fair.
suppose. To
Well,
me, to
it
me.
takes. There are some good anime games, like the Dragon Ball
Yeah.
Z, right? The fighting games are fantastic. They're
Uh
great.
uh like the Studio Ghibli related stuff, Nino Kuni 1 and 2.
Yeah,
That's Studio Ghibli, right?
I have no idea,
Level
but
5. God, I don't know. I'm gonna embarrass myself here.
it's
Let me look
Ghibli
this up.
looking though. I will give you that.
It has that aesthetic, right?
Yeah,
Like Princess Mononoke kind of thing.
yeah,
Um, but those were it is Studio Ghibli,
okay,
developed by Level 5. So,
gotcha.
I
Yeah,
got
and then
something right.
Wrath of the White Witch or something like that. The second one.
The second one.
Those are really cute games, but they're a little too kitschy, maybe niche for me personally.
Yeah. You like something
I,
like Sword Art Online? Something?
I've heard that a couple of the Sword Art games are pretty good.
Yeah.
I've heard that a
I
couple
don't
of
know
them
if the
are.
games are good. I've watched like half a season of the show because my buddy Kyle was really into it. He's like, "You got to watch this. They get sucked into an MMO, and then they will die if they
Well,
don't like play the game correctly."
that's something. It's called isekai. All right, another world translated,
Yeah,
right? And Sword Art Online wasn't the first one, but they were the ones that really kicked it off like hard.
yeah.
And now, like when they're like, "Oh, another isekai came out," I'm like, "Oh my fucking god! Please just do anything else other
Do a
than they're
different
sucked
idea.
into a world, like and sucked into another world. Please,
Well, the mainstream catches
please."
on to ideas that are working, and they want to copycat it. I mean, when Back to the Future came
No,
out,
this
like
is
how
like
many like time travel things came out after that?
no, this isn't. This is 1,000 times worse than that. All right,
Oh, okay.
it's like if Back to the Future came out and instead of having friends, we had Friends to the Future. All right, like it's just
Ugh,
everything is that. Everything is
ugh.
that. And the rare few things that aren't that are usually pretty damn good because they're actually fairly unique. But
And then yeah,
the
or
isekai
they
thing is just
recycle.
infected it.
They recycle really good anime shows with like these live action things, like the Cowboy Bebop
Oh, Oh, don't
situation.
even. Oh my
I heard
god.
people. I haven't seen it myself, but I watched that show back in the day, and
Yeah.
I probably don't want to watch the new iteration.
It's one of those things where if you have no love for Cowboy Bebop, right? Like you didn't
Yeah,
watch it, you don't know what it is, and you watch that, you're gonna be like, oh, that was fun, you know. And
sure.
then for those of us though that were there, we were
Yeah,
there, you know. Uh, Even getting through like 10 minutes of the first episode is excruciating. It's just
dude,
like
I was.
this is not it.
Yeah, I'll pass on the live action, but I do want to
Mhm.
kind of go back and watch the original show because
Mhm.
that was some of my first exposure to like having a DivX. Remember DivX, like
Oh
AVI
yeah,
files you
yeah,
get off legal in legal ways.
yeah. Loading up
Um,
K-Lite codec packs and
Lights, yeah, that's
praying that
right.
Winamp or Real Player would play your fucking video.
And you and your buddies would like swap like burned CDs
Yep,
of stuff. Like, so I got my friend gave me like, you got to check out Cowboy Bebop. He gave me a burned like CDR of Cowboy Bebop AVI files,
yep,
and I watched through the show, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I can't stop watching. This is
yep.
ridiculous. It's fun. I liked
Well,
it.
now you can watch it in HD, bruh. So
I can watch it in HD. Are you serious?
I'm so serious.
Okay, trivia time.
Trivia time.
What is the first emulated game that you ever played in your life? Like the very first time you emulated a game. Do you remember?
The very first time I emulated a game was probably uh it was definitely a Game Boy Advance game. Definitely.
Yeah. What
Because I
emulator? Do you know what emulator?
MGBA? Does that sound
Nice.
right?
Sick. That is an emulator.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was one of the it was the original GB Windows Game Boy Advance game or Game Boy Advance emulator.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably a Metabots game that I was really
Nice.
into. And I didn't
That's an anime show, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it all
I
ties
didn't watch
together
I didn't
with a
watch the
nice little
show. I
bow.
had no idea, but
Aha!
it was it was like a
Look at you.
Pokemon
You're like
game, but
me.
it was like a Pokemon game, but you traded out the robots' parts, right?
Yeah,
Which I'm
that's
about
fun.
that.
Like
That's
Mr.
me.
Potato Head.
Right.
Yeah.
But like so you could like put a like instead of like Mega Man, you could
Yeah,
trade out
yeah,
the kind
yeah.
of weapon that they
Yeah,
had,
you trade out
that kind of
the
stuff.
blaster for something else. That's cool.
Right. Right.
I have some Metabot games in my game library.
What about you?
Well, that's why I asked you the question because I was about to go into a thing about Harvest Moon. So I remember very clearly the first game I ever emulated was on ZSNES
Okay.
on like Windows 98 on my E machines at
Hmm.
my parents' house, and it was Harvest Moon for SNES, the first Harvest Moon. I was so blown away that would play full speed,
Yeah.
and I just, dude, and then save states was something new to me. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh my god, I could just save like every 10 seconds and have a perfect playthrough. And I would play
Yep.
Harvest Moon over and over and over. I thought this emulation thing was crazy. I didn't know where you got more ROMs from, and I still don't. Um,
You dumped them yourself,
I dumped
obviously.
them from my games I got from the game store.
Right.
Uh,
It
but
was
like I had like just that one game,
yeah.
and I just played it a lot.
It was
So,
Visual Boy Advance, by the way. That was
oh
the
yeah,
emulator. Yeah.
that makes more sense. Yeah, because Visual Boy Advance definitely was like 2006 ish.
Yeah. Uh
That's
yeah,
fun.
emulation. Yeah, we started with emulation pretty young, didn't we? Now that I'm thinking about it. I
We
know there
did,
were
and
like N64 and PlayStation emulators back in the
there
day,
were.
but none of them ever fucking worked for me.
Well, we had Bleem. I remember getting Bleem,
Mhm.
uh, and I can't remember like one or two games for that. And like I didn't really understand it. It ran on our Windows 98 machine,
Mhm.
uh, and I was like, I guess, but this doesn't feel right. I'm playing with the freaking keyboard.
Yeah.
I don't even know what game that I was playing on it, but I got it from Fry's Electronics, which is kind of like it was an old electronics store. I think they're out of business now,
Yeah, they
but
just closed last year.
oh man, that one hurts. But I was like, all right, this isn't it. And I remember that I got a memory card reader that I plugged into the computer through USB, and I could pull my save files over. Now, what I ended up using the technology for This is fun. I got MTV Music Generator for PlayStation 1, where I would write like DJ tracks on
Okay.
this game and then take the memory card, transfer it onto my computer, and then add vocals to it through an old program called Goldwave. I don't know if anybody ever used
I still
Goldwave.
use Gold Wave. Don't judge me.
Goldwave it's the best, man. And I had like a vocal effects, all this stuff, and I made like uh, an album. I made 14 songs of MTV Music Generator tracks with vocals laid over the top, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Of
And
all
I showed
time.
all my friends. And I was like, "You got to listen to this." They're like, "Oh, this is sick." I don't know what like word kids used back then. It was probably not sick. It was probably like, "Oh, this is so hip word."
Bitchin'.
Bitchin'. It was bitchin'. I don't know what we said back in high school. Stupid kids. I still say
Pimpin'.
cool. I say cool more than anything.
Yeah.
And I know that's not cool.
I
That's
know, but
okay.
it could be, I mean, it could be fliggity flaggity. Oh, that's so fliggity flag. Like
Dude,
we wouldn't know. We're too old.
we wouldn't know. I've been saying
I don't
rad.
understand TikTok. So,
I don't know what a TikTok is, but we have one I know for the community. I started saying rad 5 years ago or so as a joke to
Mhm.
take it back to the 80s. And I've just been saying it now. It's just part of my vocabulary. And finally, somebody called me out on it. I was making a deal with somebody through DMs, and he's like, "You use rad unironically more than any person I've ever met. Like, you really are a '90s kid. Like, you really are like cosplaying a '90s kid at all
Radical.
times, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Thank you. Yeah, that's what I
Thank you
was going
for
for. I
acknowledging my
think.
lifestyle.
Thank you for that. And you're rad. Just want you to know that, man." And they're like, "You're weirding me out. I'm closing my DMs." And I'm like, "All right."
Later on.
Later on, bro, bro, broheme,
Broski.
broski,
There you go.
bromatic.
No, you
Well,
can tell that
yeah,
we came of age in the 90s because we're like,
we
"Oh,
definitely
I
did.
remember when emulators were just getting started," you know? And
Well,
now we're sitting here with a $220 FPGA handheld in our hands going,
we're like,
"I don't know if I can play Ocean Sphere the way that I wanted to," you know?
and I obviously can play it any way I want, but I
Star
just want to
Ocean
play
Blue
it.
Sphere.
I just got this silly analog pocket, and I want to justify the damn purchase. It's what I got to do. And
I'm actually a little just a teeny bit surprised that you bought a bunch of stuff
uh-huh.
instead of being like, "Oh, I'm gonna get some blank Game Boy carts and a cartridge writer and do it myself."
Say what now? Educate. What the fuck you just say to me? What
So
you say to me?
get some blank Game Boy
Some
cartridges off of eBay
blank cartridges.
and write the game to the cartridge with a USB cartridge writer yourself.
Is that one of those Joeys
I have no idea, but I know you
you
can
call them?
program Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance carts. Oh, here we go. He has the Google face. He has the Google face. He is
No.
spaced out. There it goes.
Uh, Benven, a Benven Gen 3
Oh,
Joey.
I
It's a
guarantee you Ben Venn got involved in that. Absolutely.
Game Boy game card reader writer. Comes with reflashable cart, $50. Eames is selling one of these in our marketplace
Really?
for $50. Well, he actually took it out of our market, but he put it back into his server, in the
Hmm.
Retro GM server. 50. Hmm. So there, I could just take the
It's
ROM.
it's $34 on InsideGadgets.com.
Oh, yeah. I'll go check that out. So you take it, you write it to the cart, and then you pop it in, and it just plays. Does it have save states, all that, or no?
Well,
It's
no,
just
it doesn't have save states, but it's a
oh
it no,
oh
it's
we
like
can't.
having it's
Oh
like having no, it's like having
oh.
no, like no,
Ah.
save states are coming to analog. I know that, but
They already here. They're already here.
they're already
Well,
here.
there's a
Oh,
beta.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not in on the beta yet. No, so you can basically just take a blank Game Boy cartridge and write your ROM to it. Your legally backed up ROM. Wink. So
Oh.
you can load. You can load ROM hacks, which is what the English version of Blue Sphere is,
Yeah.
to a Game Boy cartridge and then play it.
Oh, well, damn.
Yeah,
Um,
and it'll be
yeah,
treated
I'm
like
just gonna.
a Game Boy Color game.
So I didn't have to. I didn't have to go do all the ridiculous things that I did in the last week.
I mean, have to is kind of, not how I would define it, but I'm not going to knock your hustle,
I mean,
because I know you're reconsolidating your handheld power. So,
yes, yes. Well, cool. Thanks for
yes.
educating me. I learned something today. I hope you all learned something too. Uh, I think with that, God, you know what? You know what? I was gonna like shit talk lightning round a whole bunch or whatever, but I think I
Meh.
just wanted to have like a homie hangout and just talk about
Yeah.
cool stuff that made me
Yeah.
happy. My day was kind of a shit talk lightning round, so it's nice to
Well,
have just a hangout.
yeah, I'm happy to hang out with you whenever. And I
I
know
like it.
our listeners are too.
I hope you're okay, listeners. I've been getting a lot of feedback from you all that more and more of you are saying, "Oh, you help me get to sleep at night. You cover safe subjects that aren't all crazy, filled with drama and heavy stuff, and that's really nice." So if you're listening to this as you're drifting off to slumberland, Thor and I just want to say, we hope you have a really good night.
Yeah, we do.
Don't forget to get yourself a warm glass of milk and some Oreos out, but brush your teeth after so you don't make your dentist upset. And play a little bit of Game Boy as you're falling off to sleep. Thor, do you have any ASMR that you want to do?
Not really ASMR, but I would like to say that if you're listening to this in your vehicle on your way to work, that jerk that just cut you off deserves whatever he gets. All right.
Whatever he gets.
Whatever he gets.
Don't I
Seriously.
mean don't chase him down or anything.
No, don't hunt him down, but
But he'll get his.
yeah. He's gonna hop back into the slow lane and feel free to kind of slide up. You're not being a jerk, all right?
Yeah,
You're
slide up.
saving lives because he's gonna mess somebody up. All right.
Yeah, and you can speed around him if you want, or her, whatever you want.
Right.
And just enjoy. And when you get to the office, wherever you go to work, just say hi to just give a quick hello to everybody. You never know when it's the last time you'll see them. You never know in this life.
Jesus.
Sorry.
Went there, huh? Straight to you could die at any minute, all right? Is your last thought going to be friends or is it going to be handhelds? Get your shit together, all right?
no. But just tell them a quick hello. I hope they're having a great day. And why don't you share with them like the podcast, maybe share with them the Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Say,
definitely
hey,
the server. Say, have them come in.
The server. Come here. Come join a fun game club where you can do game of the month and play some fun games. I really got to get to those this month, though, dude. Day one, I played. What was it? What do we have first? Outrun. That's like a 20-minute game. It was really nice. Already done. I'm already champion role for the month. I
I'm
don't
proud
have
of
to
you.
play anymore. Thank you. I'm proud of me too. But everybody, thank you for listening to our new show. We're in the new season. And I guess we'll see you next time. No need to go on and on and on. This has been Stubbs and Thor with the Retro Handhelds podcast /RH Live /These Dudes. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.